mid-song.
Mid-song, you
Mid-song.
say?
Well, because I mean, I started it, but it's that classic. There's a little lag, right? So
Well, we
like,
have a, like, let the lag happen. Let
yeah,
the lag happen.
and then
I,
sometimes
I
the same. I like your like thumb at the end of your streams because it's really hard to know when it's going to cut stuff off, and the thumb is just like
yeah,
a nice long thing that can go. All right,
yeah.
welcome.
That's why I also. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, welcome to another episode of I Must Drake You, aka Why You Should Use Thumbs in Your Intro and Exit Things to Your Pack Breaking YouTubes. All
It's
right,
also why I tap the table for 7 to 9 seconds before I start a video.
that is actually brilliant. I realize that because when I come in, it's like it's like it seems like it starts, but you're mid tap. Jeff here with man, we got to get a fourth or fifth podcast for you. I do this just to
We
keep
need more stuff.
yeah.
The next one will be, hey, if you want to be a part of the chat, make sure you switch to live chat instead of top chat, or else you won't see anything.
I actually kind of like we're calling out one of the best fans out there, like live chatting in the Patreon comments. I don't hate that for engagement, just hilarity to go back. All right, but let's talk, Jeff. I've been switching into corporate mode, watching a lot of Severance, so keeping that going here. So actually putting a
Oh, here
jet
we go.
putting a
My
so
friend Jackie was the producer of that show.
oh my gosh. This is rough. I had this thing at work with Severance where I was like, I want to know if people are watching and then I don't want to talk to you because I don't want to spoil it or get it spoiled.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
still have to see. Yeah, yeah. Let's open some
it's so
cards,
good.
man.
Well, we should if there's Severance cards. Jeff. All right, but here's the agenda. We got some comics. I actually buried the lead, but that's only if you squint. I got some merch I want to discuss. We're actually going to do some card breaks. We're going to search for one of my grails, and one of the more like what I love about this, Jeff, is it is an affordable grail. But we'll get there in a second. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know what it is. If you haven't seen the thumbnail, then here's what you need to do. You go to Jeff Has Cool Cards over on the YouTubes, and you click like, click subscribe, you click the notification bell so you know when stuff's coming. Oh my gosh, so unprofessional, Jeff. If we were a movie thing, you can see like the boom mic, the corner. Oh man.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, so
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 crazy.
so let me try and do this. I'm going to try and get through the full intro and then talk. But so I keep shouting up Jeff over at Whatnot for Mike Mayhew Studios, and what Jeff does, and I've failed to explain this on this show multiple times, but I think I'm going to do it tonight. Is Jeff does what's known as mystery packs, and this is awesome. This scratches a real card breaker's itch in comic form, because what Jeff will do is Jeff will come up and he'll put like this. This is a 2-pack. And so
Yeah,
you'll notice that this is clearly a Breaking Bad comic because Gus Fring is there.
yeah, yeah. He loves that cover, by the way.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Giancarlo, like
If
he contacted Mike Mayhew's studio. I think he got a few copies of the book.
and if you ever run into him and get it signed, that would be wicked.
Yeah,
So
well, he's on the con circuit a lot, so like it's actually not an uncommon thing to bump into him at a cons. Yeah.
so on the off chance I ever do, which is unlikely, that would be cool. But okay, so Jeff shows this. This is the green tape because they're packed really nicely. I might talk more. So every Thursday night from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central, Jeff goes on and has, I think you typically have 40 of these, right?
40, yeah, and it's 40 mystery packs. You get one standard signature and one fancy signature. However, within those 40 are five original pieces of artwork
And that's spelled
and stuff.
Remark,
Yeah,
which is QUE because it's Canadian, I guess. So Jeff might put this up and then puts 2 minutes on the clock and people can bid and Jeff makes small talk with his producer. It's fun stuff. It's like watching a podcast, except Jeff randomly is like, hey, do you want to bid on some comics? And Jeff, I have to like really bite myself to not. Most of what I want in my collection's full, but there is one book, Jeff.
yeah.
One book I have wanted, and ironically, I haven't. Well, I've kind of wanted it for me, but I've wanted it for you. And hot diggity
Oh,
damn,
you got the Hellions #2. That's right.
you've
That's
said
the Goblin Queen cover. That's my favorite cover. Yeah.
you have said, and I
It's
believe you
great.
that
You
this
got
is one of your
five.
favorite covers because you actually purchased this. You purchased this yourself.
I have purchased this book. Yes.
I really want to shout out the Whatnot Studios, Mike Mayhew. I know I love doing plugs for all the stuff you do, and what I really want to shout out is like on the show, you very much do the what the set it and forget it pitchman guy attitude. But you're like, I love this book. I'd buy this book. And you put your money where your mouth is. In fact, Jeff has cool cards. If you watch some of the Mailbag Fridays, Jeff will show like, nobody bid on this, so I just bought it, like on a Tuesday when you're not working. You're not allowed to bid on stuff. So this book is one I've wanted to get you. There has been a remark of Hellions #2 a couple times, and I've never managed to be on stream. This one, by the way, what happened is you got to the end. You said, hey, there's only one remark left. We're on our last set. You know what it is. You turned it around. I had budgeted to bid on up to 2 sets to search for it, Jeff, and it was close enough. So now Jeff and I have a good old standoff going, which is, and I'll get it closer. And as you can see, I do already have it in sleep protector. Got that. Jeff and I already have the friend thing going back and forth where I'm like, Jeff, obviously I'm not sending it into a fire. We'll wait for good times. But this, I bought this for you. And Jeff's like, that's cool. You keep it. So we'll see what's going on there. We did some similar stuff.
Well, Trey, just so you know, I have the cover.
Do you have a remark?
It doesn't have a remark, but that's okay. Like, this is original artwork, and like the value of it's really, really cool. While I appreciate that, if you want it, right? Like, I would be remiss, because I do have a copy of the cover. It's not remarked, but
and by the way, I do have to shout this out with Mike Mayhew. How much cooler can you get than Cyclops in her crotch? Like,
Yeah, I mean that's how we got there in the first place, right?
God damn it, Jeff. That was like I've complimented you and Logan Trent on being 2 of the best counter punchers in the podcast video game. Good job there. But by the way, I showed this to my wife and I was like, I read this Black Queen or Goblin Queen. Sorry, not Black Queen. That's another crazy redhead. I said, I read this during puberty. She's like, of course you did. But anyway, amazing stuff. Mike Mayhew Studios. So glad I had like both the time and ability to get it, Jeff, because normally either I can't watch or I give myself a budget and I say, I don't need this. Yeah. And this was a case where like it popped up and I'm like, I'm grabbing it. Someday I may or may not give it to Jeff. All right. We'll see. Or we'll hand it back and forth because we did that with the Mattingly rookie card. We've handed that back and forth a few times. Right. And the problem is at this point, like one of us would need to get it signed somehow. All right, Jeff, I wanted to share something.
You have to get that slabbed now.
Now, I don't want to tell you where I found these because you don't like them. I think you can probably buy them direct. But here's the thing. Here's a comment I have, Jeff. So you on I must and I'll tell you what. This is my rookie card set, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll just put some of these up so we have some fancy stuff to look at as I just talk. Michael Porter Jr., David Robinson, Jalen Rose. These are, mid-tier rookies that I have found in various sets, and I just collect a lot of them. All right, and I'm going to reorganize them. Okay, so here's the deal. If you collect cards, you might want to organize them. What I have found after a while is basically just the standard long box. I went into a card shop and asked for like a long box, like comics. And they were like, what are you talking about? But these, I got the 3.
Oh, yeah, they say them by number. They'll tell you it's like a 1,500 count box or a 3,000 count box.
All right, let's see. Maybe let's see if I turn these off. I got to get like professional lighting. I definitely feel jealous.
I love that you still have like the film on that card. I can't see what it is at the bottom. Is that like a?
I think it's just like a Pokemon, or I don't know for sure. It's let me.
No, that one at the bottom under David Robinson. Who is that?
Under David Robinson. Are you talking? Jalen Rose.
Right. Jalen Rose card still has the film on it, like the protective.
Funny, like you're right, from like the Topps original because this is just okay. So here's the deal. After a lot of it, I basically decided these long boxes are kind of the best way for both organizing because these will fit anything but slabs. These are good if I just want to throw stuff in to organize. But one of the problems I've been running into, which these seem to solve, is, if you have a half row, they fall over pretty easily. One thing I had tried to start doing, oh my God, this is like the most neurodivergent podcasting ever, was like some of these to block them in. But what I finally found is these suckers. And basically you'll see they're just a clip that you can put on the side of the box. The cover will still fit. And they're movable, and I am very happy with this because now if I have half sets I can put in between, and like I'm saying, some stuff I have like complete sets where it'll fill up. But now if, say for instance, let's say I go
Protect the
to,
index.
let's say I go to patreon.com/Jeff May, and Jeff sends packs of cards every month. And in fact, Jeff, yeah, I have some of those, although actually these are ones I need to take out. So here's an example. Like Jeff sent me this Wolverine. This is a Impel Marvel Halloween set. And I'll probably take this out. You just did this nice. You put this in a rigid to make sure it didn't get dented. I don't need it in that. I could take it out and put it in a top loader.
Oh, yeah.
But the point being, I don't know what I want to do with this yet, right? It doesn't go to a set I complete. I want to just put it in this box, but then these things have been falling over, so I finally got these. I am very excited about this. May or may not put a link. I only found them on one of the bad sites, but these are cool. So basically, Dre's
If
approval.
they're only on one of the bad sites, I would humbly request you do not put that link on my YouTube.
I won't put the. That's what I'm saying. Is if I find a
I will
direct,
never.
if I find a
will
direct
never
link,
promote
I will do
that.
that. All right, but
Yeah.
that being said, Jeff, these things seem to work pretty well, and that's my like final thing is basically either binders for complete sets or for organization. And this, by the way, this long box or whatever you call them was purchased at my local card shop. So, and maybe I'll say, hey, if he can find a direct link to these are useful. So happy to check that out. Wanted to show it off on stream. Let's get to breaking. So again, we are looking at 1991-92 NBA Fleer. These have the Dikembe Mutombo rookie card. Jeff actually has sent me at least one of the rookie cards out of this set. But Dikembe Mutombo was an amazing rookie, very similar to Victor Wembanyama in that he made like the All-Star game as a rookie. He got a double-double. He looked ridiculous. Now, ironically, that was his best scoring season. Let's see, how many am I going to do? That was his best scoring season in the NBA, so never touched that again.
People couldn't, like, people had to figure that out, you know?
But you know, goes on to win 4 Defensive Player of the Year, currently a record shared with Ben Wallace. Kind of a, I don't know, you're going to have to help me out with the vocabulary here, Jeff, but essentially, a lot of awards didn't exist in Bill Russell and Ben Wallace, or not Ben Wallace, and what's his name? Wilt Chamberlain's era. And a lot of stats weren't tracked. So a lot of record holders aren't real, right? So like 4-time Defensive Player of the Year as a record. Well, if that had been around in Bill Russell's era, how many would he have had? So we are looking for this red Dikembe Mutombo rookie card. This is an insert. But there are signed ones in here, and this is cool. And this box, Jeff, was, I think, about 60 retail. So, you know, of course, if you look for, an auction where it doesn't sell high, or you find a discount, or you wait for like a probably not Dave and Adams, but similar kind of thing where there's a sale.
Yeah, I don't think David Adams is going back to 1990.
Yeah.
And
we've kind of talked this before on the show, Jeff. You and I have different opinions on fronts and backs of cards, but I really love this old school back of card. Almost the basketball reference bottom with all of the stats, some basic stats at the top, some things, you know, some information on the bottom that there's no way anybody on stream can read. Danny Ainge, let's see. He traded 3.
Toronto Blue Jays own Danny Ainge.
Interest, really? Oh, did he get drafted? Is he a two-timer? I think we've discussed this before.
But he played. Yeah.
But he is the Utah GM that traded 3 first-round picks away for like 1. We do get the Dikembe Mutombo rookie card. You have sent me one of these, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's nice, though. Good to pull. Good to pull.
I do love him. I do also respect this, Jeff. They do per 48-minute statistics on the back. That is so cool.
Do you have one of these slabbed?
I have. So what I have slabbed, and it actually did make the wall. Oh, I got 2. Oh, funny. This is so mean. So I do have Gem Mint 10 NBA Hoops Dikembe Mutombo, and like that's the sad thing. This was not, I think maybe 15, 20, maybe a little more to get. Not too bad, which I like. And I've actually pulled this, but I pulled a 9. So I did pull this like on the first draw once out of the box. And so I got it slabbed because I was like, if that's a 10, it's amazing. It was a 9, still pretty good. Do like the card. I like the Fleer card better, to be honest. And I put that in front of, we've talked this, Jeff. we've talked this before, Jeff. This is one of my favorite cards in my collection. It is a Gem Mint 4. That's right. Dre just puts the Gem Mint in front of everything. Gem Mint 4s, Gem Mint 5s, Gem Mint 8s. Sorry,
Where
Jeff.
did you get that?
This was from my childhood. So my brother kept all of
Oh,
my Star Wars cards in his room, and he gave them back to me at one point. Only gets a 4, but this is a Pop 1, Jeff. Pop 1 C3PO. So one of my favorite
yeah,
cards.
well, nobody else would send a 4 in, I guess.
Yeah, well, we've kind of discussed, like, depending, some of the stuff that's valuable, it's rough to send in. You already ran into
Yeah,
that.
but
Where,
it's also intrinsic value too. It's like it's a card that means something to you when you were a kid, and that's why you have it.
well, we've discussed. Well, so there's a couple of things on slabbing. Exactly that, right? If I have my own thing. Sorry, Jeff. I always stop on this guy, but I love Orlando Woolridge because he is the Kevin Bacon of NVPs. As in, this guy has played with the most NVPs in NBA history so far. I'll have to look it up. LeBron James sticking around is messing things up. Oh, love that, Larry. But okay, talking slabs, where if you had like a professional photographer matter or your own thing, it would be about as expensive as slabbing a inexpensive card. If you find a deal and get them 12 to 15 bucks a card, that's not too bad. It's when, ironically, you get stuff by when you get stuff with stuff like you did, where you find a card that is a low population. So for those, you did this on Mailbag. Jeff pulled a really cool, don't spoil it, Jeff, but Jeff pulled a really cool vintage, I guess you can call it vintage. That's so weird how old we're getting. I'm sorry, Jeff, these cellophane packs aren't open. Pulled a
Yeah,
vintage, oh, I almost said the character name, but a Marvel card. Pop 10, or Gem Mint 10.
top nine.
And a pot less, so a Gem Mint 10 with less than a population 10, which means there are like 2 eBay sales in the last 3 years. And
Yeah, it's an impossible card to find in at a 10. That was the one
and
that
for sale, because people, if I had that card, I don't want to sell it. So
well, it's funny because PSA actually tried to retroactively upcharge me from $13.99 to $50, and I sent them a reply and said no, like no,
how have I
like
never heard of this guy?
where
Pete
where have
Chilcutt. I
you?
love that name.
I was like, where did you come up with that? And then she's like, okay, we've actually made it up to like $16.99 or $18.99. I was like, that's fine.
Because
Like whatever.
it is probably a 2. Oh, and see, this is, by the way, case in point, and why Orlando Woolridge is also on Denver this year, and a Lionel Simmons. But yeah, so if you send valuable cards into PSA, they charge you based on the value. So like, let's say you find a Michael Jordan rookie card, and you send it to
Yeah.
PSA. It's very much the catching a baseball, like a Otani or Barry Bonds
Yeah.
baseball, where it's like,
The
it's
first,
good.
God.
I was just going to say, it's good news that if you get a high grade, but then you probably are stuck in a situation where you very quickly have to figure out what to do, because you're going to get charged a bunch of money just to grade it. And then it's going to be over like tax limits and stuff. So I do like these team leader cards. Patrick Ewing, who I always called like E-Wing, as if he was, in Star Wars, but Jack Sigma belongs in the hall. Yeah, so slabbing cards that you like that are sentimental, cool. Otherwise, it's usually worth it to just pay. So yeah, that's
Well, it's like another
okay.
one of the
All
cards I saw.
right.
Oh, you got a
wait,
guy.
nope. Oh, dang it! Not. This is still cool though. So these limited edition. This is a human highlight reel. Dominique Wilkins. Cool looking card, and
Do you have that?
I would never get a Dominique graded, obviously, but the card's in really good shape. So that's a nice one. If you went over to patreon.com/Jeff May and signed up for one of the rookie card tiers, wherein Jeff sends you stuff in the mail, this is the type of card. If Jeff was breaking the set, Jeff would send you in the mail, because Jeff sends you the good stuff. Whereas I get
Oh,
the
yeah,
good stuff and put it in a binder
yeah.
in a very meticulous fashion. So
Yeah, I always do like like generally when I put the packages together, it depends on like what was open and how much was. I also like I lean heavy to people's interests. So for example, if I do like this month was very WWE heavy. So WWE is actually going to take the place of most of the sports. section are like half of the packages. And so somebody like Norm from Cheers, who has like a couple wrestling things, like he'll get really high end. Well, I mean, everybody's going to get high end stuff. They're going to get like base cards, but also like parallels, refractors, and subsets and all that stuff. Like, I don't want all these cards. Like, having a bunch of $3 to $7 cards, I'm not good enough at eBay to sell those the way like Adam might be.
It's
So
still,
I'm
I
just
mean, it's
like,
still not fun. And
give these away.
I've talked that before about, say, I use TCDB as my location of
Yeah.
choice for keeping track of my cards as well. Ooh, Larry Johnson. Great player, great player.
LJ, grandmama,
Yeah, grandmama.
gotta get them Converse with React juice.
Oh, man. There's,
That is rookie.
uh,
Or the year before.
I think it was the year before. Let me check back really quick. If only it was on the back of the card to know, Jeff. So Larry Johnson. Jeff, this is his rookie. Good eye. I thought it was the year before, but I think he was actually number one this year, right? So, yep, he is the number one pick. He is the good eye, Jeff. He is the number one pick by Charlotte this year.
All right, later, Walker. Have a great night.
He went to UNLV. Peace, Walker.
And,
He went
and then they got like Alonzo Mourning right after that, right?
Alonzo Mourning's so good too. Did they
They
get?
got Zoe, then Larry, because that was the NBA Jam team. They were like dominant, even though
That's
the team was bad.
ridiculous. I'm gonna have to look at why that team was bad because Muggsy Bogues is also one of Muggsy
Yeah,
Bogues.
but Bugsy Bogues was good, but he was good for his size.
He was good. Period.
Like he was good.
I'm letting you
but,
know
like,
his statistical numbers are good. Like
but-
period.
okay,
And then
but, like,
when you factor in his size, it's ridiculous. Pound for
think
pound.
about, now think about think about Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, and then look at the other teams that existed in that era, and it's like who is that team better than truly?
Okay, well Jeff
You
is
know,
gonna.
they're not better than the Bulls. They're not better than the Pistons. They're not better than the Celtics. They're not better than the Lakers. They're not even better than the Knicks.
Okay,
So, like,
Larry Johnson.
I think they're two dominant players and one good player, but I don't.
So,
Are you fact checking me right
no,
now?
I know. I mean, for the record, the best in that record, they made it to the conference semi. They got a 44 and 38 record of the conference semis, and in '95 they had a 50 and 32. What I am curious about, and so let's just do one more thing. I know this is what the people want to see. It's what I want to see because I can look at.
Yeah,
numbers.
people love stats.
I mean, that's why we buy
It's
little
you, baby. It's you.
rectangles with whatever. So Alonzo Mourning in '93. So I'm just curious. So '93 would be when he came in. '94 is that like 95, '96. Oh my gosh! Remember the Eastern Conference was good with like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird was gone at this point, but 95, '96 would be Michael Jordan, right? Yeah, remember when like a losing record couldn't get you into the playoffs? Funny, huh? All right, so Charlotte Hornets, we're just going to hop back real briefly and then we'll go back to getting that. But I'm really curious about 95, '96, like just why they weren't good. Because I think,
Well, but also, is it that they weren't good or they just weren't good enough in that league, in that division, you know? Like,
well, not 41 and 41 just isn't good. All right, well, unfortunately.
yeah, what I'm saying is, they might 41 and 41, but like they're playing mostly their own conference. So
it's not that way in basketball. In basketball, you will play your own conference like 6 times versus well, Alonzo Mourning was to Miami at this point, so that explains it. Okay. So never mind. Actually, that answers the question, Jeff. They got to a 50 and 32 record the year before, and then they let Alonzo Mourning go to Miami. That's a much more boring answer with apologies. Sorry, Jeff.
Ronnie Cycli.
Yeah, so geez. All right. Anyway, good memory. I've got there's a card of his, Ronnie Cycli, if that's how you say it, where he's like he looks like an accountant or something because he's wearing a weird shirt on the back. You can't tell he's not a coach. All right, let's.
I remember Ronnie Cycli might have been my first basketball card that had it was like the card, but it had like an image, like an all-star image or something on it. And I remember being like, "Oh, I'm gonna remember this guy's name apparently for the rest of my life."
An MJ, always never bad team
Always
leader.
good to get an MJ.
The team leader cards vary so much because you're like Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Derek Harper.
Dark
Mavericks
Harbor was great.
Mavericks suck. Traded Luka Doncic for nothing.
That's so funny.
Uh,
It's so funny that they did that.
what I
Like
love
the Dodgers, I mean, the Lakers just decided to be the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, the Dodgers. No, let's be clear about that. The Dodgers decided to be the Lakers, and that's not surprising because who came in and bought part ownership of the Dodgers? Magic Johnson.
Magical
Yeah.
Johnstone.
So it's but no, like it was funny because I was talking with you, and then for me, shocking at least, just like stopped, and then like 20 minutes later came back and was just like, "Oh yeah, sorry, LeBron James, or not LeBron James." I was like, Luka Doncic just got traded for the Lakers, and that's like throwing a billion squirrels in front of me if I'm a dog. So sorry, I stopped talking. Another Dikembe Mutombo, the team leader card. Brad Doherty feels so bad from injured players. Like if he wasn't injured, the Cavs could have been something. Cotton Fitzsimmons. But yeah,
Nice.
so man, if you're a Lakers fan, you should be happy. That's Shaq 2.0, by the way. That was the exact same. Like all of the stuff that Dallas is saying is what the Orlando Magic were saying. Okay, Jeff, we got to find the Keymaster one of these days. Are there Ghostbusters cards? There got to be. Or like the real Ghostbusters would be cool, right? Like the animated show.
I think there was a Ghostbusters 2 set. And if I know
The
tops, the
the
Ghostbusters 2
movie
set, yes.
Ghostbusters 2. That's so awful. I almost have to send it to you. And you were saying if you know tops.
If I know tops, I'm assuming the first 40 cards of that set were from Ghostbusters 1.
Actually, I remember we did that
Like,
with the Home Alone set. When we did that, we were like, wait a minute.
no, it was that. Well, like I learned that about. I learned that from Tops doing that with RoboCop. The RoboCop 2 set is actually half of a full-on RoboCop set.
One of the nice things about I've told you I love hate this. These old packs. These have 14 cards a pack. Which man, I've got so much stuff. I'm glad I've got those little binder things.
By the way, it's not. But you can get several Scoleri Brothers Ghost stickers. So
You got a feel for this guy? He takes the place of Magic Johnson because he retired for AIDS this year.
yeah, that's a small shoes to fill. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was very easy for him.
Ooh, is this a Rick Fox rookie? He's young. Yeah, this is a Rick Fox rookie. Hasn't Adam almost hit him with a car?
Yeah, but Rick Fox is also the guy. Like he was married to. Did I ever tell you the story about how I had a friend who used to be really good friends with Eliza Dushku? This was back when I was a teacher, and she tried fixing us up, and Eliza Dushku was making fun of my name and saying it was too short. But then she married Rick Fox, and we have the same exact number of letters in our name.
You kind of broke my brain with that story on so many levels. I don't even know how to respond, but that is funny. But you were at least on the table. Like Eliza Dushku knew who you were.
My name has been mentioned, sure. Yeah, yeah.
She
made fun of my
she
name.
knows your name.
Sure.
What?
It's funny. Yeah, it's actually the friend, and the friend was actually the friend that like let me stay on her couch when I moved out here and like inspired me to move to LA.
So you were like, Eliza Dushku, here I come. And she's like, you're no Rick Fox. And that's true. He played in
That's
Holes.
I am absolutely not a rich Rick Fox. I wasn't Sweet Feet.
Good memory. Nice job. That's a good movie, too, by the way. All right.
I taught middle school. You think I don't know Holes in and out? Hey, that sounded terrible, and I wish I could have found a better way to say that.
Someone in the chat, Norm, if you're there, put pervert Jeff. If I was faster, if like I had a producer. That was one thing, by the way, Jeff. We've talked this about podcasting and YouTubing and whatever. So I'm really enjoying a Severance podcast. I'm holding on because I got a story for this, but I'll finish this. And like the Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott comes to the end. And of course, it's like produced by this. Here's where we get our clips. Here's who did this. Here's who did this. Here's who did the editing. And it's just like, yeah, man, the number of people that like bigger ones than us do, which is why like Jeff has cool friends. The crew you do it with like a 2 to 4 person crew at the most is kind of ridiculous.
Funny story about that too is my friend that's a producer of Severance, I met through the friend that was trying to hook me up with Eliza Dushku.
Interesting. And I was gonna
Yeah,
say, you're
I mean
friends
they're
with.
like all like they're all in the biz, you know. Like I have cool friends. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Well, it's funny just the number of names. I'm just like, are you going to talk to this person? You're going to talk to this person. I do have a real. I mean, you can tell with how much I'm jonesing. Just like I know you did on the sideshow. I know in theory that's findable, but just Mike Mayhew back on
Doing an
on the proper channel,
Dave
not
episode.
just that. He is so
I would
awesome.
like to get another. I'd like to get another episode with him. He's just so friggin' busy. Like, you know, I'll show up at work and he, you know, like whatnot has become like his art has become such a full time job. I'll bring it up to him, but like, I mean, he's just got to work. Like,
I mean, I
but I
have
would
no
say
idea how
that,
easy on location if it would ever be like a 45-minute Jeff has cool friends, so it's shorter, but maybe try and get video being like Mike at work
I
and
mean,
Jeff next.
so just so you know that, by the way, is when I show up there, I'm working from 11 a.m. all the way up until 6.
Oh, I was basically implying like another day, right? It's like
So
if that
another
was
day.
ever a case where.
But I will say this though is that my guest on the next Jeff has cool friends is somebody who is returning from sideshow.
All right. Well, you had quite the dossier there. I got quite a few Larry Birds, and we've kind of mentioned this. They're Larry Bird cards that haunt Jeff. So if people want to bug me for Larry Bird cards to like find ways to give to Jeff, that would be fun. Jeff, if
What?
a younger me that would have the time for pranks and stuff, I mean, I did at one point, would be like anytime you're going to a convention or something, just find people and get them Larry Bird cards and be like, if you see Jeff, just walk up and give it and walk on. And the only reason I'm telling you
Yeah.
this is I do not have the
Oh,
time to make that happen, but someday.
so Ghostbusters did have an original. Oh, maybe not because it says
So I was,
Pops.
by the way, I was
Pops.
trying to use my TCDB to look through my collection, and I did not get to the mail today. But this still very much is in progress. So next week I will have an update for you for how much does it.
You don't want to get the mail?
That's one I'm going to put in. I'm going to put this card in the mail for Croatia, and I'm also going through my collection and finding any other cool Croatian basketball cards, rookies, inserts, whatever, that I will be sending to the winner of the WNBA Fantasy League, where I won the what's the word I'm going to look for here, Jeff? I won the consolation round, and actually, thanks to that, this is kind of funny. I was bummed I didn't make the playoffs legit. I made the consolation round, and but because I made the consolation round, I got to play Adam more times than anybody else has, and so I currently have the best record against Adam Todd Brown in the WNBA fantasy squad. So yeah.
Oh,
Duck shoot? Oh, I see. Wait, Dushku, they duck. Is that a real nickname people call her, or is that?
yeah, that was the nickname I believe Kevin Smith gave her.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because she was in
Uh,
what is
Jay and
Jay and
Silent
Silent
Bob
Bob Strike
Strike
Back.
Back.
All right. So, Jeff, we're at the end of the show. I'm just going to be organizing cards and talking for a few minutes where we ask, where is Jeff this week? So, you already gave a hint. Do you want to? I mean, it's only tomorrow, and that's if you are
Yeah,
at
I'll tell you
patreon.com.
guys.
Patreon.com/Jeff May for Jeff Has Cool Friends, which releases every other Tuesday. If you're a paying subscriber, you get it early, and you get it with swears and bonus content. If you're not, you get it a week later without the swears and without the bonus content. So Jeff, the good version, the good stuff that I think everybody in the chat and myself has is coming out tomorrow, and that is
Me and my very good friend Dr. Susan Finkbeiner. We're going to catch up based off of where she has been, what she's been up to, her very impressive new project coming up. Spoiler alert, she has absolutely been on Mount Everest since we last spoke into microphones.
actually.
And we're going to talk about.
Is that why yesterday on Instagram you had like a thing where you're like podcasting from Mount Everest, and I was like, that's a weird location, Jeff, but you do what you got to do.
Wait. Yeah, that was me.
Jeff, Jeff
On
for Jeff Has Cool Friends, we'll go on location.
Yeah, I also blow her mind about the first album she ever um, had or whatever, one of her first albums. I give her some information that blows her mind, which is really fun. It definitely goes down some really weird tangents. For those of you that don't know Dr. Susan Finkbeiner, she is not only at one of the foremost lepidopterists in the world, I guess. She also happens to be a runway model.
I actually am going to need to send this along to my wife. She loves bugs. She had like hissing cockroaches. We have a rose haired tarantula. This is awesome. By the way, Jeff, I hate to do this to you. I hope this isn't too much salt, but Susan, and say the last name again so I don't blow it, Finkbeiner. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Finkbeiner. Yeah.
She is on Instagram as Scientific Model, and make sure you are following
Brilliant.
her if you are not.
What a brilliant name, by the way, because obviously she is a scientist and a model, but scientific model is, of course, a very important thing in the world of science.
I love that. And yeah, I've definitely heard the pun. So there is that. Make sure to follow. And I'm actually going to send that to Jeff right now on Instagram for that exact reason. Because I don't see the little Jeff May 2 following. And as you mentioned, I mean, we've
I
talked
should be
that.
following.
I was gonna throw out there. You've been on. You had the Ugg Fine show with Kim already this month.
Oh, I'm
Amazed you got
following
it
her.
out. Amazed that you got that out so quickly. Because I didn't know if it was going to come out the first, and also didn't want to ask you if that makes any sense. I didn't want to like bug you and be like, so is the podcast coming all early after the week you had last week? But it did, and you talked about the week you had last week. So cool show to have there. If you want to hear more about Jeff's unfortunate Instagram travails, over at patreon.com/Jeff May or patreon.com/Kim Kral. That is spelled KYMKRAL. All right, Jeff. So that's tomorrow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got albums. We got bugs. We got Everest.
Tom and Jeff watch Batman is Wednesday. We'll be continuing Batman: The Caped Crusader.
Is it this episode or the next one Logan says he's really looking forward to with you two?
It might be this one because this has some interesting appearances.
All right. Well, I'll not.
Then Thursday, of course, I'll be on Whatnot at Mike Mayhew.
Hey, go back. Wednesday. I must break you.
What?
Right, come back here.
Yeah,
come right back here. Jeff has cool cards.
I was gonna get to that at the end of this,
but that's on Wednesday.
I was talking about at the end of the week. I was gonna say, and then of course come back here on Wednesday at 3:00. Let me do that. Friday. What do I have on Friday? I might have something.
Do you have something Friday? You sometimes do mailbags, depending on.
I should do the mailbag, but I don't have any mail coming in, so I might take that day off. Like, also mailbags have also become like a de facto break day, and that's becoming expensive.
Although, you and I could definitely have discussions where I think it gets rough, but I think if Friday becomes a break day, you might want to do either like blaster, like blasters on both, or like box start, box end. It's hard to say. And then also we go behind the scenes.
I do blasters on Fridays. Except I did a Marvel one because the Secret Wars cards that I got were so damaged, I did not feel comfortable sending them out to anybody. I did an extra break on Friday.
I was excited at first because I thought those were vintage, but those were. I mean, here is what's really rough, and I would love to see them. It's a pipe dream, Jeff, and I don't, just because of how the world works, but it would be awesome if Upper Deck would work and listen to you and like improve it, because you are a fish in the barrel to be the biggest cheerleader for Upper Deck on your channel. And you're doing it off your own dime, your own money, your own time. And it is painful to watch you go through these Upper Deck sets and just go like, I cannot recommend you buy this. And that's not good, right? Like, it's if you got card snobs, you got people like me, they're like, here's the clip you get, blah, 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 blah. Makes sense. But when you got people that are like, I know people there. I love this show, even if it didn't get the love everybody it should have. I love this set because of blah 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 blah. And then you're like, yeah, but don't spend your money. It's like that is absolutely rough. And I would love
And
if
it's
Upper
also,
Deck would like,
yeah, it's also a reminder that like you you can't really buy me honestly, like I've been sent stuff by companies before, and if it's good, I will share that, but if it's not, I'll be like, yeah, well, this is the problem we have.
although I mean that's
Like,
in the if when people do sponsored stuff right, and there was actually, it's hard to know how well it aged, but in one of the Malcolm Gladwell books that actually got me down the track to all the basketball stuff I did, he talks about, I want to say it's not Converse. What's the shoe, the skating shoe that was really popular briefly?
the Airwalks,
No.
what, Vans, like
Vans,
what?
thank you. Yeah, Vans. So
Well,
like
those Vans are still doing fine.
there was a point where like he talks about how they, I mean, they could have rebounded or whatever, but they basically had this period where they gave like advanced shoes to major skaters and got like basically free advertising, and then they kind of like pissed it away because they stopped respecting like the true fans, if that makes any sense. It's like, and so things like that where it's going, for if you're a company out there listening, or somebody out there and is watching, like, Jeff is going to be honest. If your stuff looks good, Jeff's going to make it look good. So
Well, the thing is,
that's,
their stuff looks great.
yeah, just the QA has been really bad
It's
lately,
just,
which is a bummer.
and I gotta be honest, I think they know that. Like, I think they're very aware that their QC has been not great.
All right, so we're not sure if there's anything else on Friday. I already mentioned, if you didn't catch it, the Ugg Fine show, which comes the first of every month and is a Patreon exclusive. I think I did this wrong. Anyway,
Yes.
whatever. Did already release on the first, so you may have missed it. Like, if you haven't listened to Jeff yet this week, make sure you do that, because if you don't, some podcast places will drop it. So like you might miss it behind. Um, your Jeff Has Cool Friends coming out tomorrow. All right, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been good stuff. Anything else we want to plug before we head out of here?
No, yeah, just if you can subscribe to the channel, obviously it helps a lot. And if you're watching and you haven't already, that's weird. But just do that. Obviously, it helps share. I'm trying to do more to grow. I've started using like the thumbnails and everything like that, so I'm hoping that weirdly helps. But
There's stuff to do and
otherwise,
it's good, and I'm very excited. Well, I mean, we can talk more off air, but some of the stuff, like you getting your foot wet for Heritage and learning a lot of that, I actually think that's a good avenue even for this, because we talk about new live content like the Friday mailbags. I think there is a lot of gold in not just old stuff, but even recent stuff to do stuff with. And, to peek behind the curtain a little for people, we've been talking about that for like your Patreon feed, something I'm going to talk to you right after this show, Jeff, to give you a sneak peek. It was like me going through and cleaning up all the I must Drake use, right? Like, it's great that we announce on Mondays when we're going live, but we don't need to leave those on the Patreon feed. So like, it's, if we want to after that do something with that, like make a super cut or whatever, great, but not just leaving that stuff, making very nice looking feeds that anybody finding new will want to go through the entire backlog. So more stuff to talk about. That'll be fun stuff.
yeah. But for now, just thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. Come back on Wednesday.
1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. Thanks so much. I'm going to go back to the intro, play some music, and
See you guys.
play us out. And then I'm going to bug Jeff about comics after that. Excited to talk
Yeah.
comics with Jeff. Excited to talk Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, play. There we go. Actually, no, remember what we learned this lesson. Because we do the thumbs. So let's see. What am I going to give the set? Cards are nice. Got a Dikembe rookie. Got a Dominique. Black Queen. 2 thumbs up. Or Goblin Queen. Goblin Queen. Oh my God, Jeff. I'm losing all of my cred. Goblin Queen. Good God. I think I even have her first appearance.
Oh, nice. Like Maddie Pryor's first